This is James Acaster. Hello.
Hello.
We come to the crux of the matter, which is your classic scrapes.
Indeed.
Which has now got its own hashtag.
It has.
Which people have misread, but let's not go into that.
Yep, not that kind of comic.
Thankfully. So is your classic scrape a scrape from this week or a scrape from the archives?
It's from the archives because it's the only time that a lie has got me into a scrape. But
nice.
When I used to just have a part-time job in a kitchen, I would work 12 hours a week and have a lot of free time, and I would look for any way to fill that time whatsoever.
Probably at a low cost, considering your income.
As long as it was free. And once my dad got a letter in the post, which it just said to the homeowner, so I just opened it. That's how bored I was.
Yeah,
and it was an invitation addressed to my dad to a French porcelain exhibition at,
I'm already on board.
at the Park Hotel in Kettering. And I waited till my dad got home and said, "Do you want to go to this?" He said, "No." I said, "Are you okay if I just pretend to be you?"
And he said, "Well, go on then."
Yeah.
But it will be a joint Christmas and birthday present.
I did hear him and my mother having a chat later on about how concerned they were about my future. He really wanted to go to that porcelain exhibition. I think something's wrong with him. He used to be filling his time, Diane. But so I went. It was in the daytime. 2 days later, and I turned up, and it was because I arrived at reception, said I was here for the porcelain exhibition, and they sent me through to this little room where there was a buffet. It was quite a lovely spread, to be honest. Yeah. But then, it was me and 10 elderly people. Everyone else was at least in their mid-70s. I was at the time, I think I was 19.
Were you labouring under the kind of idea that you were David Acaster?
Yeah, so I was turning up as David Acaster.
Okay, you're a very young homeowner.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh, hey guys, I'm pretty successful," and everyone else very old.
Yeah,
and
understandably.
Yeah. And then the doors opened to this main room. We got ushered into there, and it wasn't an exhibition at all. It was basically, there was a table at the far end of a big long room. There was a long table, horizontally. We were all told to stand behind that in a line, like a police lineup. Yeah. And then the other side of that,
they said, which one of these people
has lied about their identity. There was like a.
Do we talk about this like this is a normal situation? At this point, would alarm bells not ring?
Yeah, at this point, I was like, "Oh no, I never find scrape I've got myself into." So, we're standing there. There was this behind the table. There was these shelves that all had porcelain,
so you're in the right
dishes
place.
And plates. I was like, well, maybe at the time.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was thinking this is the worst exhibition. Ever. This is just some porcelain. And then behind that, there was a big screen, like a partition, and this man walked from behind it. This big, tall guy in a suit and glasses, and he said, "He's a French guy." I'm not going to do the accent. He said,
"Go on, have a go."
Welcome.
Don't do it.
No. He said, "Welcome. My name is Michelle."
Yeah.
And when he said Michelle, one of the old guys really laughed for ages. One of the old men couldn't stop laughing that this guy's name is a man called Michelle.
Yeah, classic scrape.
Yeah, and he said...
That better not be the end of the scrape.
Yeah, and then we went home. But he said, Limarche is the name of the porcelain company. And he said it's one of the most respected porcelain companies in the whole world. You have been selected. You're a very lucky few. One of you will be walking home today.
Oh no!
With over £5,000 worth of French porcelain for free.
Wow. That's a bargain.
Yeah, we were there I can't believe this. This is a. I was like,
anyone would say you might have walked into a massive con here.
At the time, I thought if all we have to do to win this is some physical exercise, I'm going to win. If it's a Royal Rumble.
The assault course from the Krypton Factory.
It's not. Yeah, if we're doing the Travelator and the Gladiators. He said, to decide which one of you will walk away with the porcelain, I hand over to my assistant Juliet, and then Michelle went back behind the partition, but it turned out he was way too tall. You could see his head if he stood behind it, so he had to crouch, and I was right at the end of the line, so I could see him, and he was crouching with his hands on his knees, and his job for the rest of the presentation was to shush the old people when they got too excited. So every now and again they'd start talking, and he'd just go really loud.
When you said he went behind the partition, I was hoping he'd come out with a wig on. Bonsoir, my name is Juliet.
Glasses off. But Juliet came out and she was telling us all about the history
Was she
of
French?
She was French, yeah.
Yeah.
Slightly higher voice, pretty much the accent that I did before. And she was telling us the history of it and how respected it is. And the most embarrassing bit, she got one of the plates, and each plate had like a different flower or something painted on it.
Yeah.
And one of them had a thistle on it. And I'm very my accent's quite lazy. I don't do th sounds and I just say f's.
Yeah.
And it turns out there's no th sounds in the French language, so they struggle with it as well. But they make the effort.
Yeah.
So she went on here is a French thistle like that. And all the old people, instead of letting it go, just went, it's a thistle. And then for about 5 minutes, back and forth, it was going, thistle? Thistle! Thistle? Thistle! Thistle? And that was one of the best things I've ever seen. But she passed a plate to one of the old ladies and she said, say you get this out of your cupboard. What's the first thing you do with it? And the old lady didn't know what to do. She panicked and licked the plate. just licked it properly up. It just held it in two hands.
That is a panic.
I gave it a full on, the whole width of the plate.
Yeah,
and,
well, there's no width, James. The plate's...
Sorry, was it radius?
No,
I don't know.
the plate.
But licked it.
Diameter.
And then obviously Juliet shook her head and said, no, you would turn it round and you would look at the official Limache stamp on the back, and that was
Bloody hell.
quite awkward.
Juliet's fun to have.
Yeah. But at the end, she basically said, this is how we decide who's going to walk away with this porcelain. So she put 3 simple questions. If you answer these questions correctly, you win the porcelain. So I was like, right, here we go.
You must have been very excited.
First question was, did you like the porcelain I showed you today?
1. Yeah, straight away.
Hands up if you liked them. No one went out in the first round. Question 2.
Are you thinking I'm in here?
I thought this is looking good. Question 2.
Do you remember the war? Oh, well, that's the end.
Question 2. Who would like to have some of this porcelain for free?
He's still in the game.
But the thing is...
Any foolers at that stage?
No, and the thing is that Juliet went along the line counting the hands up both times, like properly, and she got to me at the end of the second round, and she looked at me and went, I'll have you know, I am a psychologist, and I can tell if you are lying. I was like, oh, I would genuinely like this porcelain for free.
I'm only working 12 hours a week. Yeah.
Third question was, if we give you this porcelain for free, would you be prepared to have your initials engraved on the back of every single bit of porcelain, which costs £500 per initial? All the hands went down apart from one lady.
Oh, no.
And Juliet went, everyone with their hands down, get out the room, you're eliminated. And as we walked out, the last thing I saw before I went through the door, I turned around, I saw the old lady with her hand up. Slowly, she started looking around and realised she was the only one with her hand up still. And the last thing I saw was her punch in the air in celebration.
Well,
that
is an astonishing scrape. Not so much for you as the old lady.
It's mainly a scrape for me, that old lady.
And now, every time you go to a house, you do check the back to see whether her initials are on it, and if it's the same old lady.
She's licked the front.
What was it, the liquor?
I think it might have been. It might have been the liquor. But it felt like she had a point to prove by the end.
She licks every plate to make sure the initials don't come off.